G'day and welcome to the GameFace Footy Show here at GameFace HQ, live in Studio 1. This is the SFNL Division 3. Looking forward to cracking into this one because we've had some special guests over the last couple of shows, and this division is absolutely no exception. We have the Clayton coach, Jason Smith, in the studio with us. We're going to talk to him in just a bit, but I'm joined by, as usual, Will Smith, Big Willie style, Will Hunter, to my left, and over there, Jackson Fry. How are you, Jacko?
G'day, brother. Good to see you again, mate.
Yep, and we've got Jason Smith, the coach of Clayton. Well done, mate, coming down here, first and foremost, giving up the time with the lovely family.
Thank you very much.
Good on you, mate. How are things going down at Clayton?
Yeah, good, really good now. It's been a bit of a gamut from round 1 to round 5, but yeah, happy to be here and happy to speak a bit about Clayton Footy Club.
Good on you, mate. Well, we'll get started into that in a second. Plenty of top stories. I'm going to go through this. As I've said, you're here. Plenty of blowouts, Will. What's going on, mate? Blowouts.
Yeah.
You've had a blowout.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Just over the summer,
at some point.
I've been in a good paddock. Let's not beat around the bush. Yeah.
No worries, mate. No, I don't mean to bag you live on TV, but I kind of do. But the blowouts, of course, scorelines. Can you explain a little bit to me? We'll go to you, Jason, about this. You're right there with my finger on the pulse, and Jacko, you can chime in as well. What's happening?
From our point of view, it's been blowouts both ways. I mean, round 1 against you boys was a massive blowout against us, and then on the weekend we sort of showed up and had a blowout against Blake Rock, a team that's supposed to do really well, and really happy with how we're going.
Unfortunately, I think it was just one of those weekends where there were just sort of mismatches. I think the top end of Division 3, there's some bloody good sides in it that do reasonably well in Division 2.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I think the bottom end of Division 3 probably struggling a little bit, and sort of the gap between the top and the bottom was exposed this weekend, unfortunately.
Yeah, right. Well, let's move on to the Clayton Football Club because, like you say, up and down a little bit. The coach, it's a big role. Obviously, the buck stops with you. Everyone I know at AFL level, you've got lots of people to look after certain areas, but when it comes to suburban and country football, it's all you really. You become a boot starter almost. You become a psychiatrist, the whole lot. So, what are you doing actively with your football club to make sure you're sort of covering all bases?
Well, just on that, again, it's probably been a roller coaster of everything going on. Round 1 have the big loss, then round 2 we got our first win in 2 years, so that was sort of mixed emotions both weeks, and then round 3 we had the Anzac Day game with the big incident with Strong, which was something that I'd never sort of been involved with. And then again, to beat a team like we did round 5 last week, it was a really good win for our footy club and showing that we're going places, but it's been a long pre-season rolling into round 1 and then a couple of good wins, so it's been good.
It's been a lean couple of years for the Clayton Footy Club, it's fair to say, but I think now you're starting to really get things ticking over, and a couple of wins in your last few games. You're doing all right. How's the morale at the moment? It's obviously a fair bit different to what it has been in seasons previous.
It is. I haven't really been involved the last 2 years. Was involved as an assistant in Divi 1 in 2016. But from the moment I took on the job, that's what I've really noticed with the group. They're up and about. They haven't been down. There's always been a pulse. And just to get a few wins now, it's a totally different place than what it was. So
You've been a life member of the club, Jake's obviously been there a long time, taking over as coach your first year. Were you able to lure back any players that sort of left over the previous couple of seasons?
Yeah, well, that was one of my main focuses, to be honest, was to get a few Divi 1 players back who are Clayton boys, which we have done, and they're the ones that sort of led the way with the improvement. Round 1, sort of, you didn't know what we got, but since then they've really gelled, and it showed. So
It is tough being a coach. I've already touched on that. I had the job and I was with playing coach at the time. I know how hard that was, but it's not necessarily just game day, is it? There's week-long stuff. I mean, you're absolutely putting together training sessions, but it's 3 or 4 teams. You've got the reserves, the under-18s, I suppose, under-19s, whatever it is, and then junior program. How much are you getting involved in there? Or have you got people that are aligned with you to make sure that's all getting covered off?
We've set up a footy department this year, which has helped me a lot, especially being a first-year coach. It was there was teething problems with that at the start as well, but now that's on track, and there's a balance between what I'm doing and what they're doing, and we're working together. So I think that's helped a lot. The off-field stuff's gelled with the on-field, and you can see the improvement.
Which is the next question. You have to have a good administration too, don't you? Because let alone having a good junior program to get these young kids coming through into your club later on. but having that administration that is actively working with the playing group to make sure that this club is viable as well.
Yeah.
It does have an effect on the playing group, doesn't it?
100%. But when things off field are starting to work, which they are, the ownership comes back to one group, and that's the players. And they have taken that ownership on board, which has been good.
They seem to be really loving life at the moment. They're up and about. They're winning games of footy. It's a good place to be, Clayton.
It is, actually. And on that as well, once you start winning games, like Jackson just spoke about, Divi 1 guys and guys, life members from before start coming back and having a look. You get text messages from people, which has been really good, really supportive. So Clayton Footy Club's a great footy club, and they're starting to sort of breathe again. Yeah, they're jumping back on board, which is good for us.
And the women and the netball, they're making plenty of waves in their respective competitions. It seems like a really, from the outside looking in, of course, a really sort of inclusive and fun place to be.
Yep, the men's football side got their first senior and reserves wins last week as a group for a couple of years, and then we won 4 out of 5 last week and then 4 out of 5 this week. So again, we just want to get that 5 out of 5 and hopefully this week maybe.
There'll be a few beers drunk in our club rooms if that was the case. I'm sure things are going quite well in that regard.
Back-to-back home games, Jason, going to ask you, obviously we play you this week. You're not going to give too much away. Obviously we've got a hold of you round 1. We're expecting a very close game and looking forward to it. Have you got any injuries or anything to report?
No, actually last weekend was the first weekend we didn't walk away with an injury, which is good. Jaden's feeling a lot better, which he might go back this week if he's feeling better. I doubt it, but if you talk to him, he's a forward now, kicking goals. So, but apart from that, fit and healthy.
I might get the matchup if he starts forward.
Yeah, you never know.
He's in form. He's kicking goals.
Told me to mention him. So
no, he's playing well.
He's thrown you under the bus for this tonight. He was
he was ready to go. And late inclusion, but
late caller.
And rumour has it that he filthied up Deluxe that he wasn't picked in the team of the week last week. Can you confirm?
He was filthy last week.
He
thought last week was one of his better weeks, and he was filthy. He got left out.
So it goes to show if you whinge and complain, you'll get what you want.
That's it.
They're all important.
Robbo, the squeaky oil gets the squeaky oil.
What? The squeaky wheel?
The squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Absolutely.
That was a lot harder to get out than it should have been.
Anyway, I'll get my the man on the floor down there to flick back because I want you to talk a little bit about some of the names that played well for you. Obviously, you can see it was a great win by your club, 15-10-100, to defeat Blackrock 5-10-40. Some guys that played well for your mob.
Yeah, we're talking again, like Jackson mentioned. Jesse Henderson's been super in the ruck probably since round 1. Really found his feet, covering a lot of Ks and pretty much rucking on his own. So he's been super.
He's a warrior, mate. I remember playing
really
in First Division a few years ago, and he just doesn't stop.
And
his body.
He said when he come back that he's home. He feels like he's home, and he's starting to play like that now. Chris Morrison, who had his best pre-season ever, and it's really starting to show. And he's leading the group by example on and off the field, which is super. And Darcy Kingsbury, who has come back, spent a couple of years in Sydney, was a Divi 1 player from a couple of years ago, only a young guy, I think he's 22, 23 maybe.
Yep.
Been really good down back, so...
Good stuff.
Spratt and Daniel kicked the best for Blackrock, but a game that looked like you guys had comfortably in your control from the outset.
Yeah, we did feel like that, but even talking to Jackson before, we kicked multiples, which we haven't been doing, and once you start winning, you get in confidence, the multiple goals come, and I think that's what helped us on Saturday.
Yep. Lockie Dobson was back, Will, after a dislocated shoulder. He's no brains, no pain, it's fair to say.
I love it. Well, let's move on.
Only missed 2 weeks with that, surprisingly.
Well done. Let's move on to the next game, and it was your mob, Jacko, just doing it nicely, getting the quarter-century goals notched up, if you don't mind, 25-12, 162, defeating Cerberus 2-5-17, a bit of soul-searching going on down there, but the great thing, Will, is the Hampton Buck boys were able to find 14 individual goal scorers, and that is important.
That's great. You don't want to rely on, 1 or 2 big key forwards. I mean, they've got, blokes like Carver and Dye, and they kick 10 between them, but... it's great to have that even spread. So if Dyer's well held, if Carver's well held, they'll still get guys to step up and hit the scoreboard when they need to. And an interesting name that I saw on the goal kickers list, Jay Fry. What were you doing at the other end of the ground?
I can confirm with 14 individual goal kickers, we did swing the magnets a bit. So a few back, we ended up down forward. Yeah, stuck forward, kicked 1 goal too, Robbo.
Thought you were looking fresh.
Kick one against us round 1.
A little bit lighter in
I
the
think I got 1 round 1 as well, so sneaking forward. But no, I was saying to Jason just off air, the scoreline probably flattered Cerberus a bit. That was the hardest game we've probably had all year physically.
Yeah.
They didn't hurt us on the scoreboard, but geez, they run in straight lines and they crack in and can't fault their effort.
Big units.
We had some seriously sore bodies after that game. yeah, it was a good hit out, and we're looking forward to playing them in a couple of weeks down at their ground, down at the base. We're going to get a bus down, so it should be a good day.
Be a good bus ride back if you can get the 4 points. But great to see our man Shitlips play best on ground.
Shitlips was dominant on the weekend, winning plenty of contested ball. He played really well. We were going to push Shannon
Michael
Hampton
Lazic,
out of the
of course.
centre. Michael Lazic, yeah, we had to leave him on the wing, Will, but no, we had a bit of a beer Saturday night and worked out why he was known as Shit Lips. Apparently he's got no lips on his top lip, and no lips became Shit Lips. As nicknames do, they can change. So he played well, and Swartz was their best for service. He played really well. He kicked 2 goals.
Well, Smitty, I don't know if you tuned in last week to check out the Division 3 SFNL Footy show. We talked a little bit about nicknames, and obviously our avid fans out there watching GameFace every single week, and especially this division of SFNL, liked the nickname that I gave this man over here, which was Bucky. Obviously.
What's your nickname, Josh? Smitty?
Smitty.
Yeah. Smitty's pretty easy with that one, isn't it?
As far as nicknames go, that's pretty vanilla.
Yeah.
It's pretty vanilla. I've got Robbo, that's vanilla as well. But I'm going with Bucky, and one of our viewers sent us in this. Have a look at this.
Seen that.
What do you reckon of that, boys? Comment on that, Smitty.
Gold.
Absolute gold. That's the absolute gold.
Playback's a bitch, I'll say. Nick O'Brien, I know where you live, I'm coming for you.
Anything like that you've got out there, about any of us, I don't mind. It's just good fun, that sort of stuff. We'll move on to the next game. Endeavour Hills versus Ashwood. Endeavour Hills 23-5, 143. They got over Ashwood 3-5-23. Another blowout, as we said off the top of this show. Morrison 7, Marola 6, Will.
2 forwards having a bit of a day out there, but the 20-goal win, gee whiz, they're looking all right, the Endeavour Hills boys. And, as we said last week, Beyond Blue round for the SFNL, and great to see Endeavour Hills rocking some Beyond Blue jumpers for the day, which look really, really good. Obviously an important cause.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Jace, I'll get you to talk a little bit about those 2 teams at the top of the ladder that you can see there right now, Hampton Park and Endeavour Hills. They're rolling on quite nicely at the moment, and you'd imagine those guys are probably going to have a good tussle at some time.
Yeah.
Again this year, but during September.
Yeah, 100%. And they're the teams we're sort of trying to catch. In a way, we're sort of moulding ourselves on them, the way they play, the way they go about it.
And what is that? What is it they're doing nicely at the moment?
I'm surprised, actually, no disrespect to a divisional sort of league, but Division 3, how the game styles and stuff like that are structured up. I don't know what it used to be like, and it's hard to sort of get a gauge on, but the way teams move the ball, we're talking off air as well about Black Rock, and the way they sort of try and move the ball, it's surprising.
It's quite strong.
Yeah.
I mean, the top end is as strong as ever, and you think most of those sides could play in Division 2.
Just a real shame there's probably another 2 or 3 teams in there that could really sort of get another couple of, well, not necessarily rounds, but playing against different opposition always brings something new, and you can learn from that. So
you two will probably get bored playing against each other.
4 times we meet, so looking forward to that this week.
Possibly finals too. If
definitely could be more games.
Something that a lot of players out there in this division really look forward to is their name in lights on the screen.
Particularly Jaden Gilmore, apparently.
When it comes to Team of the Week, well, you've pulled out this round's Team of the Week. Go for it, boys. I'll get you to talk through it from the back line all the way through to an interchange bench.
Start there, Will.
Alrighty, so Kelly Spratt from Blackrock and Daniel Kick, also from Blackrock in the back line, 2 of their best players on the weekend, and Benny Holland from Endeavour Hills, he's certainly in some good form.
Yeah, solid back line. Half back, one of your boys, Jace, Xavier Dayton. Another one of your guys, Darcy Kingsbury's been in good form, and Brett Figgis, who's played really well the last couple of weeks for Ashwood.
In the centre line, Michael Shitlips Lazic. Jeez, I love that nickname. Shannon Henwood from Hampton Park, and your man Chris Morrison on the wing. Jeez, he's been in some outstanding form.
He's been super, almost career best form, which is good for us going forward.
He's one of the. There's a few guys on there that we've probably just left there and probably just leave there for the remainder of the year. They're playing so well.
Just on nicknames too, if I can cut in, there was one last week, Joshy Winfield, who got thrown up Siggy's, I think. Siggy's was the nickname. That stuck straight away. We
I can't believe we had that.
We said the same thing.
We was all over it.
We were like, how did we miss that?
How did you miss that one?
I don't know how we missed it, but it stuck.
It has to stick now.
100%. Good.
Half forward, Michael Swartz, he played well for service. Nathan Carver, Hampton Park, centre forward, kicked 6 goals. Jared Morella, 6 goals as well for Endeavour Hills in their win.
In the forward line, Daniel Morrison from Endeavour Hills, Peter Dye from Hampton Park, and Jaden Gilmore from Clayton. So there's bags of, I think, 7, 4 and 5 on that forward line.
Peter Dye 4 straight on the weekend. Robbo, he said he is a sharpshooter.
He wanted that up. He wanted to prove us wrong, didn't he? Well done, Peter Dye. Dead eye, die. Dick. Moving on.
Ruckman, Jesse Henderson from Clayton, he's in tremendous form. Daniel Strom again playing really well for Endeavour Hills. And Ryan Pearson, he's been a great pick-up for Hampton Park, dominating each week for us.
And warming up the pine, we got Jesse Elms from Blackrock, Aaron Holden from Hampton Park, Daniel Can from Endeavour Hills, and Brad Hemhill from Ashwood.
Good stuff, boys. There is a few names there that I reckon we could pull some great nicknames from. Anyone out there that's watching this show, I mean, shit lips. We've got to get someone to get their best Photoshop on and send us something in that we can just flash it up on the screen.
We might get him in as a guest, Will.
We've got to get shit lips
He's
on.
a character. We'll get him on the show. He loves it. He'll be all for it.
How's Sigs go?
Sig's actually, it's surprising that he's got dropped from that team of the week because he was probably better the week just gone than the week before when he kicked his 4. So as a team, as a club, we were happy with how he went this Saturday.
To anyone watching or coaches or players or anything, feel free to send it in to Will. We only sort of go off the goals and best players and what we hear. So yeah, Jason, if you want to send in players that might not feature in your best players but you still think they can go on the team, we obviously can't get around all games, so I'll have a good look at you guys this week and sneak a few of them in.
Well said, Jacko.
So glad that I'm stuck by it. It is the best thing I'll do all year.
He's probably the straightest guy I've ever met too. So it's
probably never touch one in his life.
We do appreciate all the feedback and help that we get from our viewers. Let's move into the round 6 fixture and tips. I'll get all of you to make a tip on each game if you can. I know you've got your respective clubs that you have to look after, but if you can make a comment on your club. Let's go firstly to Endeavour Hills. They're hosting Cerberus. You'd think that the boys in Endeavour Hills would get that job done nicely.
Yeah, I'd say so. And different to those guys, I'm not tied down to one club, so I can really say what I want. So no, I think Endeavour Hills might be too strong in this one, and hopefully for Cerberus' sake they can make this competitive.
Endeavour Hills 100% going to win this one. But I'd like to reiterate what Jacko said, and that Cerberus really go hard. We were not surprised, but after the game again, we knew we were in a game. So 100%.
Next game, Blackrock.
I'll tip Endeavour Hills too.
Sorry.
That's all right. No, that'll be a blowout. Unfortunately, they beat Ashwood by 20 goals, and if they're on at home, that could be again another 20-goal win.
Not a big ground down there.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well done. Blackrock versus Ashwood. Blackrock hosting the boys from the Woods.
Should be an interesting game. I mean, both sides coming off a heavy loss. Both keen for a win, obviously. Blackrock, they're always tough to beat down at home, and I think they'll sneak home in this one. It'll be a pretty interesting game of footy, I would have thought, Smitty.
I think it'll be a lot closer than probably what people will think this week. Blackrock off a couple of losses in a row, multiple losses in a row. Confidence might be lacking a little bit, and then Ashwood had a few out last week from what we've been told, up to 10 or more. So depending on who they get back, it could be sort of 50-50 game in a way, but I'll go with Blackrock.
Yeah, it's going to be very close. It's Blackrock by a couple of goals for me.
Yeah, nicely done. Clayton and Hampton Park obviously got two blokes on the panel that are going to go one way with this. Will, you and I can say, but I'll get both of you to comment on how you're going to beat the other side without giving too much away. Start with you, Will. Who are you going for?
Look, Hampton Park undefeated so far to start the season. They'd probably be looking the team to beat this year, and they're my tip for this one. But you know what, I'm really liking what I'm seeing from the Clays at the moment. So they can hopefully make a real good contest of this one. So looking forward to it.
Yep. Oh, well, obviously Clayton in form at the moment. Winning form is good form. You've got to say, Smitty, what do you reckon, mate?
Confidence is big, and as I've said to the group, confidence is earned, not given.
Yep.
So they've worked hard to build this confidence and build the momentum we're bringing. And from a coaching tool, round one, we got literally smashed everywhere over the ground. So it'd be a good test to see where we're at, but I'm quietly confident.
Jacko, I'll throw a curly one at you. You're good form, obviously, all year. Yeah. Undefeated, playing really well. 25 bags of 25 by team is fantastic. How do you keep that form going year round? Can you do it? You've seen a great team in the Essendon Football Club back in 2000. They lost one game for the season. You didn't think they'd lose at all, but they certainly did.
This is going to be a very tough game. Really looking forward to it. I was saying to Jason, played a few times at Clayton over the years, and it's always a tough game. They love playing at home. I don't think it'll be anywhere near round one. I'm expecting a really close game, and hopefully we can come out on top. Boys are absolutely up for this game. It's a good buzz around the club, obviously, when you win it. As Jason would know, they won the last few, so that there'll be nothing in that. Hopefully we can have our nose in front. But either way, I'll come in for a beer after the game, Jason. Look forward to that.
It's an interesting little venue down there at Clayton. Have you played on that ground before?
Yeah, many times at Chelsea Heights, and I don't think I've ever won there. So hopefully,
a few of the boys would know. They wouldn't have even been there.
Very, very narrow.
Yeah, no, I don't think a lot of guys have. They'd probably ask what it's like, but. Bit big, I'd say it's definitely bigger than Endeavour Hills' ground. It would be similar to Ashwood, roughly. It's hard to get an exact dimension on it, but
get the tape measure out during the week.
Tell you what I've really enjoyed my time at Suburban Football Boys is and the boys at Doveton, and they make it a big thing that you get back into the club rooms and you have a beer with the opposition. It was really great. And I'm obviously in Div 2, getting back with the Springy Districts boys and having a beer, and everyone stayed.
Yeah, Springy great.
And you can see that a lot of blokes know each other anyway, but there was a lot of banter during the game. It's just really important. How important is it? I would go to you, Smitty, because you're the coach. Is that a mandate by you? Come on, we're going in for a beer?
100%, and it's showing respect for the opposition as well, and sort of, doing like you'd like them to scratch your back as well as you scratching theirs. But just on that, again, Cerberus was the best after-match function we've had. So for a team like them, who are probably struggling a little bit on field, but they have sort of the best after-match function. So it's really
that's massive, Robbo. Absolutely massive. I know whenever I played against Springvale, 22 of them would always come in for a beer, and I reckon you just build a good network. When we played Hyatt, they did it. There's no secret; those two won premierships last year. So just the little things off field, it doesn't go without notice.
Well, it is a great network. I mean, what happens on the field stays on the field. But I tell you one thing, Will, and it's been my experience, is if you're a club that doesn't go in and celebrates with the umpires and the players after a game, you're spoken about more behind your back than anything that happens out on the field. That might
so
be
true, brother.
Absolutely,
it's, so
it's just poor form. It's bloody un-Australian too. So make sure you bloody staying back there, having
even
your beer.
5 minutes for a soft drink.
Just
show your head, show your
Absolutely.
face.
Even if you're the designated driver, it doesn't hurt to have a can of Coke.
Tell you one of the things I've really enjoyed seeing is some clubs, obviously you got the netball, you got the women's football, but you've got the kiddies jumping castle going on or something in the corner there for the kiddies to muck around with. Parents can really enjoy and be around because they really are social clubs at the end of the day, and it's a place to stay fit and healthy. So well done to football clubs all over this country. Well done to football clubs in the SFNL Division 3. That's been a great show, boys. I really appreciated
Just
your
before
time.
we go, Rob, I was just going to ask, Will, there's been a bit of feedback. Your top 15, when are the last two players? Because a few guys at Hampton Park reckon they're a sniff to get a gig.
I'm surprised they haven't gone out already, so leave that with me.
Good work, Will. We look forward to seeing that. I think I know who number one will be, but
It's not you.
no, I know that. Plays for Ashwood, maybe.
I will tell you that Will does respond nicely to bribes or physical
No, I
punishment.
hope he's already picked it. They've been waiting a while.
Your check bounced, that's why I didn't get in the
Jason Smith, thank you very much for your time, mate. All the best to you all boys
Thanks,
for the rest of the season. I hope things go well.
Thank you.
Best of luck to both of you this weekend. I hope for a really fair fight and good luck.
Close one, Robert. Looking forward to it.
And as always, Will, thanks for having me.
As I said, always a pleasure, mate. You're welcome here anytime.
That just didn't work, did it? Thanks for having me. Great to have you, Will. That's been the footy show, GameFace footy show for SFNL Division 3. We'll see you next week as we bring you all the action from this week's football.